All right, Kaash Paige.
Kaash.
She's on a Don Toliver song, I think.
Don't know about all that, but alright.
I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, Euphoria. And I like it. She's pretty good. Oh, she's also on Grammy Week.
That's by her.
It is, featuring Don Toliver from this album. What a segue! Alright.
A swagway.
I said that she sounds kind of like 070 Shake,
Yeah.
but like just less experimental, which is like fine. She still sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
But her songs did have a bit of meaning in them as well.
Yes. One thing that I sort of picked out straight away is that she's not the greatest singer.
Yeah.
And she's not like, I think she's extremely talented, and I will talk about that later. But in terms of like singing, I think there is some better singers out there.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that she's sort of gone to the school of Drake, where it's a bit like, not wishy-washy, but a bit sort of, the lack of singing ability is made up for in other areas.
Yeah.
Like specifically charisma and just talent to recognise a beat and sort of work with it really well. I don't think this is the best album, and I don't think this album does what she wants to do the best, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, and this is what, her first album?
I think so, yeah.
Or fairly close to being one of her first projects, so I think this shows a sort of
her second one.
A second, so I think this shows a clear path and career projection.
Yeah.
That she's going in the right direction. She's trending upwards, not downwards. But yeah, what do you have to say?
Well, I liked Fake Love. That sort of had the classic, like, you're only hanging around me so you can, like, leech off of me.
Yep.
And then sort of, like, following off of that, I think it was, like, a track or two later, she had a Grammy Week.
Yeah.
Where she said that she just wants to be sort of successful. So it's like there's, a bit of a come up. She's slowly getting there, but she wants a lot more. And then it sort of continued on Lost Ones, where she said, this fame shit making me hella nervous.
Yeah.
Which isn't something that you sort of hear a lot. I know it has been said before, obviously. But, yeah, mainly people just say, oh, I want this, I want that. And then it's, I have this, I have that. Like, you don't really hear about people's insecurities as they're rising to fame.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something people readily admit.
Yeah. I think another thing that I sort of picked up straight away on is that there's a bit of ambiguity to her, not to her gender, but to the gender of her music. I think sometimes she raps from a more powerful perspective of being able to
Like,
almost
dominate the track.
Yeah, and almost like she's like a male rapper, sort of rapping to a teenage girl or to a girl in general. And I think sometimes she sounds like she's a teenage girl sort of singing someone's song. And I think that like someone like maybe Drake or Sway Lee or The Weeknd, and I think that sort of works well with sort of the atmospheric R&B that she goes for. Like, I think a lot of Drake's music can be sort of gender ambiguous.
Yeah.
I think that you could, if a woman was singing it, it would be no different. And I think that,
like, I don't know what song it is, but the Kiki, do you
oh
like
yeah,
me?
exactly. If you just change that to a male name instead of Kiki, but even Kiki can be
Yeah, that could just be like a nickname or something.
yeah, exactly. So I think that that's something that I found really interesting, is that which, depending on which way you look at it and which perspective that she's sort of singing on from, it can sort of change the meaning of the tracks. And I really do enjoy it. It's called Teenage Fever, so she's obviously sort of talking about being in love and sort of going through her formative years and becoming someone that she wants to become in the future. She's sort of growing, and like you said, she's airing out her insecurities and stuff like that. But I think the production was pretty good on this.
Yeah.
I think the differences in between sort of like, it was like guitar in there and there was electric guitar.
Yeah, I did really like the electric guitar. That was in the intro and then one a bit later on. I think Friends, maybe, had electric guitar in it too. It sounded really good.
Yeah, I think, she obviously had like samples in there. She had just like, obviously produced tracks with just sort of more R&B crooning type stylings to them, but One thing, I don't know what you thought, but you thought about the choruses and the hooks. I think some of them were a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
I think that she sort of let herself down by sort of repeating herself. I think there's some pretty bad... if I get the track list up, I'll be able to sort of list them from what I remember. Problems, I think, was a bit repetitive with Isaiah Rashad. SOS, I didn't really like.
Yeah.
Soul Ties, I think SSG Kobe was terrible.
I think the last 3 tracks were very forgettable.
Yeah, SOS, Mr. Lonely and Come, I would 100% agree. I didn't like any of them.
They're just, uneventful. Nothing really.
Exactly. That's I feel like, unfortunately, that is a fair amount of this album.
Yeah, I think
it
so
is
too.
quite sort of, it's just there. And
Yeah.
I think that while it is good, and I think there is some bright spots on this, there is definitely some parts that I'm just like, why would I bother listening to this when I have a boundless list of other artists that I could potentially go to? But
yeah, I think that's a very good way of putting it.
the features I didn't really like. The only feature that I did like was K Camp. What track was he on? I think
That was one of those first ones.
Yeah, it was on Breakup Song. I think that I just think that the other features, and I do want to touch on this, were just below Kaash on this.
Yeah, that is fair, I guess.
I think that, like, that's when I said she's talented. She's not the greatest singer, but she is extremely talented. I think that it shines through, and I read a review of this, and it did make sense to me. In the NBA and in all sports, it's talent beats everything. Talent trumps everything, and it's true here. Like, she is extremely talented, and she just comes through. And like, Drake isn't the greatest singer, and he's not the greatest lyricist, and I don't think there's anything special on here to do with lyrics or writing or anything like that. But it just, at times, sounds really good. Yeah. And I think Drake has the same thing in his earlier projects. I think Drake is very refined now, and superstardom and mega fandom definitely build that, because now he has more money to spend on features, on production, on people helping him.
Yeah, he can afford to be picky.
Yeah, and exactly. And I think at a point, I think Kaash may get there. It might take some time, but I think that she's like a diamond in the rough at the moment, a rough diamond. If you just polish off some edges and you trim some fat and you cut down some of the more filler, I think you can definitely see a good album here, and one that in the future could potentially, if she works on all that, I think definitely something that she could work on. Yeah,
no, I think that's really good.
What else?
Very, very accurate.
Yeah.
I liked Friends, where she said, like, we're more than friends, like, we're not together, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
I did like Friends. It was in my top 5 tracks for the album.
I don't mean to be mean, but that would have been difficult making a top 5.
Yeah, I'd say top 5 of the album.
Yeah.
Wasn't the greatest. I think Breakup Song, Friends, and Jaded were probably my top 3.
Yeah.
But on this album, Kaash goes through a lot of phases, and she assumes a lot of roles.
Yeah.
She's the heartbreaker. She breaks someone's heart. She's the heartbroken. She's possessive of someone. She sort of wants to get away from someone that's possessive. She also is loved. She's also lonely. A wide variety of emotions and sort of states that she's in, and I think she does an okay job at sort of portraying them. And over the top. I think she comes out on this better than average. But
I think
certainly
so too.
Not blown me away just yet. I think in the future she may, though. So,
and I think taking on all of those roles as well, at first I thought, like, she's just trying to do too much. Like, if you look at some of the greatest albums of all time, Igor, for example, has one story.
One theme.
Yeah. Whereas this, she's trying to do, like, a bit of everything.
That is a fair point. I do like that.
It is called Teenage Fever at the same time.
Yeah. She's just sort of a bit manic, a bit all over the place. Teenager's sort of mind would work like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have to agree with that, so...
So, although it has negatively impacted it, I can't really, give it too much hate for doing what she's meant it to do. Yeah. So, yeah.
What are you going with for a rating?
I think a 6 out of 10.
I'm also giving it a 6 out of 10. So
because it's good, but I don't think I'm going to come back to any track again.
Fair enough.
But R&B is not really my style anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is good, but yeah, I think it's like okay to good.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with that. I can't go either way, so yeah,
Alright.
fair enough.
Well, there you go. Kaash Paige got a 12 out of 20. Much better than 03 Greedo.
Yeah.
Well, be sure to check us out later tonight because we're going to be doing the best of 2020 so far. We'll catch you then. That's a wrap.